Burns and Gambo. Arizona Sports, the local sports leader.
All right, let's talk a little Cardinals football as we get through the cut-down day, the practice squad, the waiver pickups, and, all the talk about, whether the team was tanking or not. Let's get to some real football. Jonathan Gannon spoke to the media today. Here is your Cardinals head coach talking about that has he been on teams where they didn't know who the starting quarterback was?
Yeah, about the same. I've been in some unique spots on some different teams that we didn't know who the star was going to be until the Friday before the game, so feel comfortable where we're at. That's
Jonathan Gannon talking about feels comfortable with that. Let's talk about that. Should he feel comfortable right now?
No, he's just saying that. I mean, come on. First of all, I do think deep down at this point they probably know. They may be trying to iron out some things and making sure.
I disagree. I think it really has to do with how Dobbs practices.
I think Dobbs can play himself out of the position,
yes.
But right now the plan is for Dobbs to start.
If he can play well in these practices,
right, he's got to play himself out. He's got to play himself out.
Right, but they need to see. He'll have 6 total practices from the time he landed in Arizona to the time they leave to go play Washington. 6 practices to prove that he can run the offense. Now, they already know he knows the offense. He knows the offense. But can he run the offense? Those practices will ultimately determine whether he's the quarterback or Clayton Tune's the quarterback.
I just think they're going to give him every chance to succeed. That's why you sent a 5th-round pick to get him.
I don't disagree.
And I think Josh Dobbs is probably too smart to really,
to blow it,
crap the bed in 6 practices here. Like, they want him to start. I firmly believe that. I firmly believe that's why they went out and got him. They know Clayton Tune's not ready again, but you talked about it all week. They're going up against a team on the road that has a pretty good pass rush. It's not ideal for a rookie quarterback, a 5th-round pick like Clayton Tune to go out there and lead a football team in that scenario. And they got Josh Dobbs to play.
Here's Jonathan Gannon talking about how Clayton Tune, he got a lot of reps in the preseason.
I think that the days of hiding things and not, it's what expense is that of us evaluating, developing our guys, rinsing things that we want to run, different things like that. I thought Clayton saw a lot, honestly, like more than I would have expected, truthfully. And which was good for us, because he needs to see that. He'd rather have him see it preseason 2 than week 5 or whatever it is, So, I thought those were great learning opportunities for everybody involved, not just the quarterback, but for our defense too. Sean Payton gave us a lot of good stuff. It wasn't just power and quick game and a shot here or there. It was the full gambit of stuff. So that was good for our guys to see.
Yeah, and I think it was great that Clayton Tune got all those reps. And the one thing we kept talking about Clayton Tune is he didn't look like he was lost and out of place. He didn't look like he couldn't play. It wasn't deer in the headlights. Okay, the Minnesota game, there was a blindsided sack and fumble that set up a 1st and goal at the 5, and they scored a touchdown. But he bounced back after that and played well. Kid showed some moxie, showed some guts, good arm strength, could get out of the pocket. I mean, he didn't look great, but he certainly didn't look like he can't play in this league. So I thought that coming out of the preseason, my feeling on Clayton Tune was you might have something here. This guy might be able to play in this league. He might be a decent backup. He's definitely worth developing. He didn't look like, oh, my God, this guy can't play. He doesn't know what he's doing. He was better than that.
He was really good throwing the football over the middle. Really, the statistics bore that out. Not so great throwing it outside the numbers. He really struggled in that regard. But drop back when he had protection, when he had time, and he had a guy open, he delivered the football accurately on time, usually for a productive play. But a lot of those were between the numbers. When he was asked to throw outside the numbers, not as much. There's no question about it. Clayton Tune, for what he was asked to do, I think excelled in the preseason. Absolutely excelled. He's a 5th-round pick out of Houston. I mean, I get it. He's a rookie, and there's other rookies that are starting in the league, but those guys were all top 5 draft picks, okay, with a strong college pedigree. And Tune put some numbers up in Houston. Don't get me wrong. But again, for what the Cardinals asked him to do in the preseason, I thought he performed beyond admirably.
Yeah.
And
definitely showed that he could play in this league. Definitely showed he could play.
I'm going to say it again. Right now, from where I sit, Josh Dobbs has been rattling around this league on multiple teams since 2017. Clayton Tune, to me, actually has a greater upside than Josh Dobbs. Just right now in September of 2023, he's got a lower floor. And I think that's why the Cardinals want to get Dobbs up to speed and get him out on the field there against the Commanders in Week 1.
Couple more from Jonathan Gannon right here. What's the one thing that will separate Dobbs and Tune?
I would say production.
So production, okay, and I'm going to follow that up. What did Drew Petzing tell Gannon that he likes about Dobbs?
Basically everything that I like about Josh Dobbs' command. He can make plays inside and outside of the pocket. He's mentally tough. He's a good teammate, good leader.
Yeah, strong arm, very athletic, really smart kid, good football IQ. He was with Petzing last year. They know him. It's a very similar offense. So, when you say he knows the offense, they're going to run a very similar offense to what they ran in Cleveland last year. So he's going to pick it up seamlessly. They expect him to pick it up seamlessly, like no problems picking up the offense. But again, these practices, knowing it is great. Okay, you know the plays, you know the offense, you know where to go with the ball. Now you got to run it. You got to run it to perfection to see if you could do that. One more, Gannon talking about it's not going to be a whirlwind for Dobbs to learn this.
If you just watch him in the building, you wouldn't know that he thought that. You know what I mean? He's cool, calm, and collected, so he's doing a good job.
Yeah, so they've got a choice to make. They'll take this right up to the wire, I imagine. They're going to let Dobbs have every practice possible, and then they'll name their starter. I think, like you, if Dobbs goes out there, does a good job running the offense, there's a little bit of a benefit to having a guy who's got some experience under his belt on the road against a team whose defense's best attribute is their pass rush. So you take a rookie who's never played in an NFL game before, you put him on the road against a good pass rush, might be a little harder for him than it would be for Dobbs. Now, neither one, even with Dobbs doesn't have a lot of experience either, but he's been around the block enough to maybe identify some things that Clayton Tune doesn't.
And you kind of led me to my next point. I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't matter. But the reality is, whether it's Josh Dobbs or Clayton Tune, the Cardinals are in a world of hurt until Kyler Murray comes back, Gambo. I don't see how they consistently move the football against this schedule and do enough offensively to win football games. Now, one quarterback could be a lot uglier with one quarterback than the other.
Could we see both in this game?
If the guy who starts is a total disaster and you're down 28-0 at the half?
Yeah.
I think you could.
Could you see both guys? We keep talking about who's going to start, who's finishing.
You could.
I mean, if you're in the game and your quarterback's doing well, then yeah, maybe he stays. But if you go out there, whoever the starter is, if that guy doesn't perform well, and you're right, you get down by 3 scores, you might see the other guy. You might see both players in this game.
Because I would say this, Jonathan Gannon would have nothing to lose. Neither one of these guys is the long-term solution. Neither one of these guys has any kind of experience or pedigree where you say, you deserve more time on the field. If you're getting your tail kicked, go ahead and put the other guy in. And then we get into this musical quarterback game until Kyler Murray gets back. At least it gives us something to talk about. But this is going to be ugly. I mean, I just got to be a realist about this deal. I mean, they don't got a great defense. They might have the worst defensive roster in the NFL. That's not me saying that. That's every analyst.
Everybody else.
That's every analyst who has put out that list.
They're going to have a hard time getting stops.
And now you have a quarterback who has really, I mean, Josh Dobbs has 2 starts.
What's your biggest fear with an offense like that? Is that your defense gives up an 11-play, 80-yard touchdown drive, and then your offense goes 3 and out. Hey, get back on the field. You got guys huffing and puffing. They were just on the field for 6.5 minutes during a gigantic touchdown drive, and then your offense can't get a first down to give you a breather, and you're back out on the field because you keep going 3 and out. Like, that's the worst thing for a defense, is that the offense can't get a couple of first downs to give you a chance to catch your breath.
It's almost like you have to manage expectations. Usually you go into a Sunday, I hope we win today. I hope the Cardinals win today. Now it's like, I think it's going to be, I hope they're competitive today. And that's the way it's going to be until Kyler Murray comes back. That's just the way I see it.
I think that's the one thing that I care more about than anything else. Be competitive. Be competitive. I don't think they're going to win a lot of football games, but can you play in a bunch of one-score games? Can you be competitive? Can you not get blown out by 30 points in football games? Can you be in the game in the fourth quarter? Now listen, I know there's a lot of Cardinal fans out there that are probably rooting for losses because of the Caleb Williams factor and the number 1 pick. I totally get it. But for the coaching staff and the young players, not a bad sign at all if you could be competitive in these football games. I mean, because you want to know that Gannon's a good coach. You want to know that he can coach these guys up, and you want to feel like there is some young talent on the roster that's worth developing, and that these guys could be a part of the next good Cardinals football team, whenever that may be.
You're also going to keep that locker room cohesive the more you are competitive. Even if you end up on the wrong side of the scoreboard at the end of the game, if you're out there getting waxed every Sunday, Gannon, Gannon's message it will start to get lost. The veterans in the team will start to check out if this thing gets ugly fast here in 2023. But if you're competitive and Gannon has a good plan and his message stays strong, it can be a competitive season as you wait for Kyler Murray to get back. And then obviously that breathes new life into everything around the organization.